everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Underscores, where we talk to the overseen people in the world of gaming. Today's guest is Caleb Fischer, an independent game developer. Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, so I think a good place to start is to ask, what was your first coding experience, no matter how simple, what got you interested?
Oh man, first coding experience. Well, yes, there's this game on the DS called WarioWare DIY.
Yeah.
Where you make your own little micro games. And yeah, I remember. Yeah, I played that when I was in middle school. And what's funny enough is that the way you I guess program your mini games in there is with just sort of like blocks almost, and just simple statements, and it's honestly not that dissimilar from actual programming.
Yeah.
Just funny. Just for a little toy sort of
game.
Yeah,
I remember just watching a video about that game, and I was just surprised to see how in-depth it was. You'd think for a WarioWare make-your-own micro games it would be more like Super Mario Maker or something, but it seemed more like Scratch or something closer to that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's very it's very limited. You have to sort of work within very small constraints.
but especially for the time, just on the DS, it's pretty wild.
Yeah. But yeah, that was loads of fun.
So, fast forward a long time, I'm assuming, and your first game, Blade Crusade. So, when did that start?
Let's see. It would have been summer of 2020, I guess. That was right after I graduated from OSU, or Ohio State, to be specific. But yes, I started that. My plan was for it to be done in a year or less, but of course that ballooned out of proportion, as things do. But yeah, I did end up finishing it, so that's more than a lot of people can say.
Yes, definitely. So, what sort of got you set on the idea of Blade Crusade in general, out of all the sort of games you could make?
Right. Well, let's see. Well, I guess. Well, funny enough, there's a central dash mechanic in the game where you go flying, and if you kill something, it resets the cooldown.
Yeah.
Well, funny enough, that the inspiration for that was Genji from Overwatch. He's a ninja character who has a dash that resets when you kill something. So I thought
you took a aspect from this. I don't know that much about Overwatch, but it's a multiplayer sort of shooter game, and turned it into something in your 2D platformer. That's pretty interesting.
Right. Yeah. Any game with any sort of resetting cooldowns is always fun. But yeah, no, that was just sort of the central idea. What if I made a whole sort of game around this? And also, the other big inspiration was Super Smash Bros. Melee, which for the GameCube.
Yeah.
Which I started playing that game competitively when I was in high school.
Nice.
Not play it so much these days, but yeah, that's the way the game feels. It's super weighty, and just having complete sort of control.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are really stuck on that and saying come on, all the new Super Smash Bros. Games are too different. I can't say for sure.
It's the best. I'll fight you on it.
Yeah, I played Melee once. I play Ultimate whenever I do Super Smash Bros. But
yeah.
Anyway, so Blade Crusade is clearly, it even says it on the Steam page, I think. It's oriented towards speedrunners. So, did you have to do any research or anything like that to or look at other games to figure out what features to include to make it oriented that way?
Right, well, funny enough, it didn't really start out, when I started out, I wasn't really thinking oh, well, make a game about speedrunning or whatever, but I guess where I should start is, one big thing it has is the replay feature, which, you can see replays of yourself and other players, and that sort of plays into the whole speedrunning thing. Where that actually started was in the sort of, early play testing where I wanted to send it out to people. I wanted to have like replay data from the play tester so I could see like, oh, what parts they had trouble with and what parts, I could make better or whatever. But then, and I did implement that, and use it for that. But then I realized like, oh, well, hey, I could put this in the game and have people, see other people's runs. And that's sort of where it started. And so I decided like, oh, hey, why don't I put like a scoreboard and everything and show your friends' times and other people's times. Yeah. And I think, well, funny enough, that like end screen sort of UI, I got inspired by this game called Polybridge, where you build bridges.
Yes.
And after each level, it says like, it says like, oh, here's your friend's scores and other people's scores. But,
That's funny.
So sort of eclectic inspirations, I guess. But I'm not like super into speedrunning, but like whenever I do see, I'm like, man, this is like pretty sick. Like, especially like I don't know, I see people speedrun a game like Celeste or something. It's just like super cool. It's like
I did know, or because I watch a lot of speedrunning and do a lot of speedrunning. Like, I think you kind of hit the spot with that. Having it to where, like, for casuals, it wasn't invasive or anything. But for people who like speedrunning, they're like, oh yeah, I can pick this up nicely. One question, I was wondering, are there any like really cool Easter eggs or secret maps or anything like that have yet to be found?
On Blade Crusade, well, there is. I guess there's sort of a secret ending. I don't know if I should spoil it, but but I mean, all it really is you have the oil barrels, and basically if you have a certain number, and then you pick some dialogue options, you get a alternate ending. So
nice.
Better if you want the true ending.
Yeah. So now you're on to your next big project, which finally got its name, Trash Bandits.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's available for pre-order now on Steam. Be sure to check it out if you're listening. It's a platformer where the player controls a raccoon with a grapple. Where in the world did you get that idea?
Well, when I started working on the next game, I was thinking like, I thought, a grappling hook would be cool because grappling hooks are always cool.
Yes.
And the raccoon thing came second, really. I guess at first I was thinking like, oh, maybe I'll make it like the ninja character from Blade Crusade or something. But then I was like, I sort of decided against that. But I started thinking like, oh, maybe let's make it a cute animal or something. So I was thinking, I don't know, I was just going through different animals. At one point I thought of like a wombat or something, like combat wombat or something like that.
I really like how it ended up, it's like the sort of cute but also vicious animal is the raccoon. And I like his character, he's like, looks kind of cute, but it has a sort of edgy side to him.
Right. Yeah, well, no, it's funny. But, well, I always liked raccoons, but as I've been working on this game for like months, I feel like I've grown to like raccoons even more. Like, they're such like mischievous little jerks,
Yeah.
But, I guess I had the whole, they said I have a whole supporting cast of like other sort of trash-eating animals, like a rat and a possum and stuff. So,
yeah.
Like, there's this meme of like, it's like a picture of like a raccoon, a possum, and like a skunk or something. It says the 3 starter Pokemon in Ohio or something. It's pretty much that. But yeah, so I guess raccoons are a sort of archetype with stealing stuff. So it's sort of the idea of like the whole theme, like, oh, I guess the whole stealing thing isn't totally fleshed out yet, but I'll come up with some story justification for like, oh, you gotta collect the, bag of trash in each level or something.
Yeah, something like that.
But,
tie it in somehow so that like the player knows that there's no real reason they're doing it other than to play a video game, but technically there's a reason they're doing it.
I mean, raccoons don't need a reason, do they?
They don't. So go ahead. One thing that really stuck out to me about Trash Bandits was like, in contrast to Blade Crusade, even though, I mean, they're both made in the same engine, right?
Yeah, they're both in Game Maker.
Yeah. but and they're both platformers. But while Blade Crusade was, like we said, really heavy and simple, and like you move forward, and as soon as you let go of the button, you will stop moving immediately. But Trash Bandits, on the other hand, it has more like physics-based, momentum and such like that. So which one do you like prefer? First of all, playing with, and also just like to develop.
Yeah, that's a good question because I feel like I've got to say I prefer what I'm doing now with Trash Bandits, just because Blade Crusade, like it feels super tight. Like you move and you instantly move, and you stop, you instantly stop, which makes it really tight to control. But when it comes to speed running, I guess, and going through a level, it kind of turns it into with Blade Crusade, it's more of a just finding I don't know, just executing.
It's a precision platformer, right? Just trial and error.
Yeah. It's just do these inputs at this time or whatever, which I guess is sort of the same with Trash Bandits. But I guess what I'm trying to get at with Trash Bandits is that it's more about building speed and maintaining it, I guess. And rather than, because sorry, I'm kind of rambling here, but
it's all right.
But Blake, you're saying you kind of just go and you stop, and you have sort of a fixed amount of speed you can have at any one given time. Whereas with Trash Bandits, with the momentum building and rolling and sort of the grappling hook, you can gain theoretically infinite speed. Yes. So if you find some sort of route through a level, you can just zoom through.
Yeah. Yes. I think this game will, especially if it happens to catch on, speedrunners will have a fun time with it.
Right, yeah. Which but I guess the thing that comes with it is some feedback I've gotten is that it can feel sort of sluggish, or you don't really have control. So I've been working on sort of tightening it up and making it feel a little more precise. Not you're on ice, I guess.
So, what are your it releases in September, right?
Well, tentatively. So my plan is to do early access actually sometime this summer, so probably July or August. And so when I go into early access, I'm planning on having the first sort of world finished, and then after that I'll add a couple more and have the full release sometime in the autumn probably, or by the end of the year.
Nice.
But I guess a big part of this game is sort of building custom levels. So it has a built-in level editor, and I've been working on getting it integrated with the Steam Workshop, so you can share your levels on Steam. So that'll be sort of a big part of it.
Yeah.
Rather than because what sort of happened with I was just gonna say what sort of happened with Blade Crusade is I kind of got just bogged down making hundreds of levels just to have enough content. So for this game, I figured have more of the content be about making your own and sharing it with other people, like Mario Maker, essentially. So.
Yeah, it's all about that, replayability.
But yeah, the level editor that the player has access to is the same one that I'm using to make the actual levels. So
that's nice, just being able to really take it from it's like making Mario Maker levels, but for the actual game.
Right, yeah.
That actually kind of reminds me, this is a tiny bit off topic, but did you know that Mario Maker was originally made for the developers, and then they just thought it was so fun that they made it as a game for everyone else?
That's fine. Yeah, that makes sense, yeah. Because part of the reason I even made my own level editor is just because there are features in the game maker editor that I felt were missing. I was well, I could just do it myself, I guess.
Yeah.
But stuff I guess the main thing being so in the editor I made, you can have basically rooms that you place stuff in, and then you can move those entire rooms around the level. Because before, if I made a big level and I wanted to change a section or move things slightly, it'd be a huge hassle. But with this, I can just move a whole section or copy and paste it.
So. So yeah, you said you're planning to make a few more worlds for the game. You got any ideas for what those might be like?
Yeah, so the one right now is so the first world is sort of just sort of a landfill. Just like there's trash everywhere. Sort of the joke is like, in this city, no one really knows where the city ends and the dump starts. It's all trash everywhere. But yeah, I think well, I have another idea. So I'm thinking like in the center of Grove City, there's like this big like abandoned like skyscraper called like Grove Tower or something, and maybe they're like this whole community of like animals that live in there. So I was thinking, yeah, maybe the second world would be that sort of abandoned skyscraper, and there would be like rooftops and sort of more verticality, I guess.
That seems,
but then,
I think especially with like the second grapple type with where you like pull yourself towards it, that could really work well with a vertical, especially if you are like using wall jumps or things like that. That'd be exciting.
Yeah, and then beyond that, I'd probably do at least one or two more. So I don't know, I guess there's always the cliche sewer level, or or maybe like I don't know, maybe like a I'm trying to think, maybe like a bank or something like that.
Yeah.
Or the mountains have a mountain level with ice everywhere. That'd be annoying. I'd really piss off the player.
Yeah, it's just the ice levels are hard to get just right.
Yeah. But that's always how you should be thinking, is how can I really make people mad?
Yes. So what's your what's the most enjoyable part? Like when you get to create a part of the game that you're just like, yes, this is going to be fun. What part of the game is that?
Oh, jeez. I mean, I guess I don't know. I guess just like sort of movement options and stuff. Like I don't know, like putting in stuff like the grappling hook and things like that. I mean, that's always just a lot of fun, just sort of tweaking it and getting it to feel right. But let's see. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's probably the main one on this. But I guess in general, like I don't know. I guess at heart, I'm more of a programmer than designer or artist, so I kind of like getting into the nitty gritty, I guess, of the physics and things like that.
Yeah, the scripting stuff, I guess.
Yeah, like my algorithms.
That makes sense.
But
so, one thing I was wondering is like creating a video game is obviously a just massive investment of your time, especially if it's like all on your own. So how do you like balance video games while also supporting yourself financially?
That's a good question. Let's see. Well, I think I don't know. So I came out of college, just sort of instantly dove into it just because I figured like if I don't do it now, then I'll probably just never feel like I have the time to do it.
Yeah, but that's a good rule to follow.
So I've been doing it full time since I graduated, but I guess my thought process is after this, if this isn't enough to make a living on, then I'll probably work at the very least part time or full time and try to sort of do it on the side or part time, I guess. So if I could find a world where I can make it 50-50, that would be ideal, but it's hard to do. But I mean, as far as workload goes, on this project I'm working with my cousin who's an artist. He's he's going to college for art, and so he's helping with a lot of the backgrounds and tile sets and stuff like that, and that was really a big nice burden lifted off my own.
Yes, I'm sure, especially because you said you're more into the programming side,
right? And
I am too. I mean, I'm I'm artistic musically, but I cannot draw.
Yeah, for sure. And I can make sprites, but it takes me 10 times longer than someone who's actually good at it. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, really, if that's one thing I could recommend is just finding someone who complements your sort of strengths and stuff.
So
or even I was just gonna say, even with regards to even stuff like you said, music. On Blade Crusade, I made all the music, and that took me way longer than it probably should have. So for this, I've just been was paying people on like Fiverr to like produce for me.
I mean, who'd you get on Fiverr to do like the sort of jazzy like?
Right. Yeah. There's this some guy from like Indonesia. His name's Yuda or something. But yeah, I can recommend him for sure.
I mean, especially like that's some good work for paying someone on Fiverr.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of time spent versus I guess opportunity costs. Like, I mean, you only charged like 70 something bucks for it. It's like, dang, I mean, that probably would have taken me like a week or something to do or more. So.
So, once you're finally done with the game, it's ready to get out there, how are you gonna market it, advertise it?
Yeah, so I guess, I mean, traditionally the main sort of marketing route for indie devs is just, sort of networking on like Twitter and stuff, but now with like, the way like Twitter works now, you kind of need to have like Twitter Blue to like get your stuff seen by random people, which might be a worthwhile investment. But I guess you can also advertise on Facebook, which I did a bit of for Blade Crusade. And it's not too expensive. You can sort of decide how much you want to invest, and they'll show it to like X amount of people or get X number of impressions. So that's another way. But another way is probably just reaching out to like content creators and either paying them to do it or finding smaller content creators who will do it for free.
Yeah. I mean, you've already got it nice with the Discord server. Mm-hmm. So, you've got a ton of people that can, like, I know I'm going to be talking to all my friends over on the OVO speedrunning Discord server about it once it's done.
Yeah, that's another thing you should mention. Yeah, is trying to sort of build a community like as early as you can and get as many people sort of interested. It also helps you get like play testers and feedback and everything, which is huge. So
yes,
yeah, I'd recommend that.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, probably just networking and influencers and stuff is probably going to be your best bet.
Yeah, and also, let me show you a little secret about TikTok, right? So if you're making TikToks, what you want to do is you just find like the most viral song that's like, popular right now on TikTok and just like overlay it on your video and put the volume at 1%, and like that'll boost it in the algorithm. So there's my tip.
All right, I'll remember that when. Oh my goodness! I hope TikTok isn't still around when 10 years from now when I'm living on my own.
Yeah, no, it's horrible. Like, what's funny is on TikTok, like you can't even do anything like on the web or desktop version. Like you have to like edit it on your phone, which is like this is just the least optimal way to do anything.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's probably the biggest hurdle. Just like, the quality of the game is obviously a massive part, but whether or not people actually see it, if it sits there, it's not doing any good. So,
right, yeah.
But it seems like, yeah, especially with the Discord community, you've been doing a good job building that up. So,
yeah, I've been trying.
Yeah. So you got anything else you want to mention or talk about?
Let's see. I mean, not a whole lot. I mean, there's I guess I should say the Steam Next Fest is coming up June the 19th, so I'll be participating in that. It's basically just a event where loads of indie developers get sort of featured and you can play their demos. So I'll have a demo live for that, so if anyone wants to check that out, they can.
Cool.
But well, funny story is actually the deadline for registration was back in like March, at which point I didn't even have a Steam page, so I was like, oh shoot, well, didn't realize that was awkward. So I just reached out to like Steam support, and it's like, could you please get me into Steam Next Fest? And old Matt from Steam support was able to help me out. So thanks Matt.
Great job, Matt.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's about it.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Caleb, for being the guest on the very first episode of
absolutely
podcast. This podcast is produced and hosted by me, Sam _. If you have questions, suggestions, or want to be on a future episode of Underscores, you can contact me at samandrews0808@outlook.com. Intro and outro samples, Slingshot by Krista Workson, and you can listen to his music on Spotify or download it for free on Bandcamp. Thank you for listening.